What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Shelves. If this is your first time watching this video, this is basically my monthly Blu-ray and DVD update video. Talk about all the Blu-rays and DVDs I bought over the past month, give my mini reviews on them, and tell you whether or not you should go out and buy it, see it on Netflix, or skip it. Also want to let you guys know, as always, with these Off the Shelves video, I'll have an Amazon affiliate link in my video description below for every single one of these titles that I'm going to talk about today. The ones at least that are on Amazon. Some of them are exclusives elsewhere, but if you're interested in picking up these titles, please check out these Amazon affiliate links down below. It's a great way to support this channel because I'll get a commission and a kickback for anything that is bought on Amazon.com using the links that I provide. Even if you click on one of the links down below and you buy something completely different, I'll still get notoriety for that and I'll still get a little bit of commission for that. So, good way to help support this channel, guys. Consider clicking those, please, and let's talk about some Blu-rays. So, being that this is October, of course, I have a shitload of horror titles, but we're going to save that last. Best for last. Let's start off with the double dips. So, these are movies that I have absolutely no reason to rebuy other than the fact that I love them, and I wanted to see them on 4K. So, first off, we got 3:10 to Yuma, one of my favorite westerns, a kick-ass movie. You got Russell Crowe in one of his most badass roles, Christian Bale in a really good role. Definitely go out and buy this one. This is a great western, just a great movie all around. You got Ben Foster in just a total unhinged role. That guy is one of the most underrated actors out there. So even if you don't like westerns, this is a western for people that don't like westerns. If that makes sense, go out and buy it. Next up after that is a movie that I've grown to like much more than when I did in the theaters, and I was kind of lukewarm on it except for the ending, and that is M. Night Shyamalan's Split. Now, this is basically a kind of cerebral horror thriller kind of movie. You got James McAvoy given basically the performance of his career, where he's playing 23 different personalities. He kidnaps these 3 young girls, and he's preparing them for some kind of sacrifice when this 24th personality comes along called the Beast. I'm not going to tell you anything else about the movie. If you are one of those people that loved Shyamalan's earlier work like Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs, and you have hated pretty much everything he's done since then, this is a pretty big return to form. I don't quite put it on the level of those first 3 movies that he made, but it's a damn close, good attempt, and it's much better than anything he's done in a long time, and the ending especially, if you're a fan of Shyamalan, you're going to be leaving pretty happy. So go out and buy this as well. Moving on from that is one of the most talked about movies this year, and that's Get Out. One of the first horror movies to be put on 4K, so absolutely I was going to buy it. And this is a really good movie. It's a really good first directorial debut by Jordan Peele. I mean, it's a movie that shocks you. This is the guy's first time directing. A really good story. There's a plot hole in it that still doesn't make any sense to me. I've had a lot of people ask me in my review, what plot hole are you talking about? Because I harp pretty hard on it. But it's a really good story, makes a lot of important commentary on, you know, racial stuff without getting too much into the story. But it's a pretty good little psychological thriller. I think it's a little bit overrated, if I'm being completely honest. As a die-hard horror fan, I think this is a movie that people are shoving into the horror genre when it's really more of a psychological thriller. But very good movie, definitely worth being on your shelf. Go out and buy this. One of my favorite movies of all time, easily top 10, arguably top 5, is Warrior. This is not only my favorite sports movie, but my favorite fighting movie. And like I said, just period, one of my favorite movies of all time. You got Tom Hardy and you got Joel Edgerton playing brothers on opposite sides of the ring. They're trying to go into this MMA fight to win $1 million against the biggest heavyweight champions of the world. Such an awesome movie, honestly. Like, I cannot say anything more great about this, but this is one of the greatest movies ever made. You got Nick Nolte giving a performance that will leave you almost in tears by the end of this movie. Total snub that he did not win the Oscar. I'm glad he got nominated, but he deserved the Oscar that year. Can't say anything more about this. Go out and buy this twice, 3 times. Hand it out to your neighbors. Go out and buy Warrior. And the last one is The Lincoln Lawyer. Now, this was one of the big movies that kind of, whenever Matthew McConaughey was having the reconnaissance, whenever he started coming back and doing all these really great dramatic roles and eventually won his Oscar, this is one of his best movies. It's a great novel that was translated very well to screen. Basically tells the story of this guy who is a defense lawyer. You know, he gets paid off here and there. He's a good guy, he's a good lawyer, but he's a little bit slippery. And he gets this case by Ryan Phillippe, this real rich guy, and he basically gets accused of murder. He takes on the case, assuming it's going to be this open and shut case, and it is far from that. Some chaos ensues. Such a great thriller and such a great performance by not only McConaughey, not only by Ryan Phillippe, but everybody else in this movie. You got William H. Macy in a small role, my man Bryan Cranston in a small role. You've got Michael Pena in a really cool role where he has two complete different personalities he has to show within a few minutes of each other, so can't recommend this one enough too. Another, go out and buy it. All awesome movies. Let's move on from there and let's talk about the TV. So, did actually manage to pick up some TV stuff this month. You got Orphan Black Season 5, the final season. This is a great sci-fi TV series. If you have not seen it, I believe it's on Amazon Instant Video. I could be wrong, they're always changing shit up, but however you can see this show, check it out. It's a very underrated series. You basically have this main girl who, she finds out she's a clone, and she has to play like 6 or 7 different versions of herself, and the performance that she gives, giving all of these different characters completely different like mannerisms and different dialect and different personality, it's incredible. So I think she finally won her Emmy last year. I could be wrong about that, but Tatiana Maslany definitely deserves it. This is the final season. I've seen all the other 4 seasons in one giant binge. Me and Holly watched all of them. Started watching this season whenever it was airing, and I couldn't follow it because I had forgotten so much about what happened in season 4, so I need to kind of find some YouTube videos like season 1 through 4 recap, and then I'll finally pop this in and watch this final season, but definitely had to get this. Can't comment on how this final season is, but the show as a whole so far is a go out and buy it. Moving on from that, I shamelessly love Shameless. This is one of the best comedies and best dramas on TV, bar none. It's got, it took a little bit of a slight quality dip to me the past couple of seasons, but it's on the rise again. This was another fantastic season by Shameless. It's going to be on again in like a month or so. This is a must-watch TV show. I think if you can't find it, it's a Showtime show. If you can't find it on any kind of like streaming services, at least for free, I think the Blu-ray sets for like the first 3 or 4 seasons are like 15 bucks each. I bought all 3 seasons whenever I started getting into this show for like $40 all together. So definitely go out and buy this. Cannot say enough. This season is awesome. This show is awesome. Can't wait for it to come back. Got a lot of go out and buys this month. Damn, October was good to me. Speaking of that, holy shit, this set is awesome. You got Stranger Things Season 1 that came out, and not only did it come out in a really quiet release only at Target, but what a kick-ass case this thing has. It's made to look like a VHS. It's the same exact size. It's even got the worn corners and everything. For collectors, this is one of the most amazing sets that I've seen released in a very long time, and that is why this is absolutely my pick of the month this month. This is something that should have never happened. Not only does Netflix really treat their stuff shitty when it comes to Blu-ray releases, you get the most bare bones shit you could possibly have, no extras, barely get a good cover, they just throw it out there to get a couple extra bucks. This, they knew people were gonna want. They took some TLC with this. Get this now before it goes to just some regular old clamshell Blu-ray, okay? This is an awesome set. Like I said, it's so much money and time went into this, and it just flops open like this, and you get the discs and everything on the inside. I can't say enough how awesome this set is. Not only is the TV show itself incredible, and I can't wait to start season 2. I might even do a review for season 1. Don't hold me to that. Don't hold me to that. But I might. But this is an awesome set. Like this, for collector geeks like myself that love old VHS throwback stuff, you can't get any better than this. So this was awesome, not even that expensive. Absolutely go out and buy this. Stranger Things Season 1. If you have not seen it, you can watch it on Netflix, but I would prefer you go out and buy this because it's badass. Go out and buy it. Moving on from that, we'll talk about the new releases. The only one of the new releases that I have not had it, well, one of 2. The first new release I actually haven't had a chance to watch yet, but I bought it because I have all the others, and I've heard this one is better than the past couple. That's Pirates of the Caribbean. What the fuck is it? Dead Man Tell No Tales. Part 4, or Part 5. Wow. Pirates of the Caribbean. Pretty cool little steelbook set from Best Buy. I like the first one. I like the second one. The third one's okay. Hated the fourth one. Curious to check this one out. If you guys have seen this, where does this stack in your Pirates of the Caribbean ranking? Tell me that. So, no commentary on how good this is, but I went out and got it to check that one out. Moving on from that is a movie that came out of absolutely nowhere this year. This is one of those quiet little independent releases that I love because I had no trailer for it, no lead up, no anticipation. I watch it and it kicked ass, and that is Shock Collar. Now I did a full review for this you can find on my channel. Basically tells a story of this guy who is kind of like this Wall Street rich guy. He's got all the right things, got a nice car, a nice family, accidentally gets into a drunk accident, kills 2 people, ends up in prison, and the things that he has to do to survive prison basically turns him into a hardened career criminal. Such an awesome, awesome movie. Great prison style movie, very bloody, very gritty, a lot of really good performances, especially by the lead actor, Nikolai Waldo. I believe I'm saying that. He's the guy from Game of Thrones, the Kingslayer. You also got John Bernthal, you got Omari Hardwick, Lake Bell, some other people you're going to recognize. It feels like the movie could have been just a little bit longer. It almost feels like it could have been maybe a 4 or 5 episode TV series, but it is a damn good movie. It's a damn good movie and a very quiet release. It should be like 15 bucks. It's one of those cheap movies. Go out and buy this one. Shot Collar is awesome. Moving on from that is Spider-Man Homecoming. Got the little Best Buy Steelbook, one of the coolest Steelbooks that they've come out with. Sometimes Best Buy Steelbooks aren't really all that they're cracked out to be. They're pretty weak, but this one is actually damn good, and I wanted to get this one. And this was a movie that I also have a full review out for, and I enjoyed this movie. I was not nearly as high on it as everybody else. This seemed like when it came out, everybody was ready to throw away all the other Spider-Man movies. This is it. This is the Spider-Man movie we deserve. Little Dark Knight reference. But I still enjoy it. I've rewatched it. I rewatched it with my son. He had never seen it before. I enjoyed it a little bit more knowing what to expect. I was expecting a straightforward Spider-Man movie. I got kind of a Spider-Man, Iron Man Jr. movie, which is kind of the thing that I'm glad that probably in the sequel they're not going to have. I enjoy a lot of the characters. I really enjoyed Michael Keaton as the Vulture. Of course, Tom Holland is really good as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. To me, I'm a big fan of the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. Unapologetic about it. Even Spider-Man 3 that most people hate, I still love that movie. So in my ranking, this one was number 4, just underneath that, but much better than the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which I don't like at all. So this, I'm gonna say go out and buy it, because you know what? It's a really enjoyable movie. It's a good family Spider-Man movie. Yeah, so go out and buy it. This one is a good picture, a good one to have on your shelves. And I think that they're going to do good with Spider-Man in the MCU. I look forward to seeing what they're going to do with him. Moving on from that is probably my second favorite movie of the year. Yeah, second favorite movie of the year so far. And that is Baby Driver. Now, this is a movie that I had no anticipation for. I'm not a big Edgar Wright fan. I know that's sacrilege, but I've watched Shaun of the Dead multiple times. I don't get it. I like Hot Fuzz much more than that one. At World's End was pretty decent. Scott Pilgrim, I could take it or leave it. This made me an Edgar Wright fan, because this movie kicks major ass. This is a go out and buy it all day long. Got my full review up for it if you want to see it, but such a cool, stylistic, badass movie. Great performances, great characters, great soundtrack. Really, the only thing about this movie that I knocked on it was that the relationship between Baby and the waitress, where it's one of those kind of Bonnie and Clyde things, where suddenly somebody that you've only known for a couple days, you're ready to lay it all on the line for him. I don't really buy into those kinds of movies, or those kinds of relationships in movies, so that's the only negative I have for this. Everything else kicks ass. Even Jamie Foxx, who I hate unabashedly, was good in this. So, Baby Driver, second favorite movie of the year as it stands right now. That might change by the end of the year, who knows, but go out and buy it. Moving on from that is probably my third or fourth favorite movie of the year, and that's War for the Planet of the Apes. Now, this is by far one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Definitely the greatest trilogy that we've gotten past 10 or 20 years is this Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy. Rise was damn good. Dawn is one of my favorite movies of all time, easily top 10, just alongside Warrior. I love Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This one didn't quite get up to Dawn for me. I enjoy it very much. I think it's a damn good movie. It just didn't quite match up to Dawn, mostly because Koba is such an important piece of that story that he is not. He's in here to a degree, but that dynamic between those two characters, I missed that a little bit in this. But this basically tells the story. It's the kind of conclusion of the trilogy of Caesar the Ape, played by Andy Serkis, and one of the wildest performances that guy's ever put. I mean, one of the most criminally underrated performances is what that guy has done with Caesar in these past 3 movies. And you have this guy, Woody Harrelson, who's basically this ruthless colonel. He comes in, he attacks the apes. They've been having this war for a few years since the events of Dawn. And this is basically a prison escape movie. All the apes are locked up. Caesar has to basically rise up again and try to get the apes out and try to take over, try to overthrow Woody Harrelson. I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version. It's much deeper than that. There's much more going on in this movie, but that's the basic understanding of the plot. Because the trailers sold this as a war movie, and it's really not. It's really a slow kind of cerebral drama, a character study of Caesar, the effect of war on him and the apes. Not necessarily a, gun battle, spear battle war movie. It's not like that at all. So if you love the first 2, you will love this. I guarantee it. This is absolutely go out and buy it. There's a badass 3-pack 4K out there where you can get all 3 movies. I think it's like $40 or something like that, maybe 50. Definitely worth it for that. I already had the other 2, so I got this one but this is a go out and buy it, badass movie. And ending on the other new release that I bought for Holly that I'm somewhat interested in because everybody said this is one of the greatest comedies of the year, and comedies have kind of sucked this year. I have not seen it yet, and that is Girls Trip. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I look forward to checking it out. Don't have any rating for you, but did pick this up. Now moving on to the good stuff. So this is a close second for my pick of the month. If it wasn't for the fact that this was just a double dip for me to basically add one movie to my collection that I'm kind of infamous for not liking very much, and that is the Chucky collection. Now I already had the other Chucky collection that has the 6 movies, which is honestly a better put together set than this. This one looks cooler because it looks like the old good guy doll box, but the inside of it is very bare bones. It's basically just all the discs from that with Cult stuck into this clamshell. The other box set is much better, much nicer, but I wanted to get this. I'm a Chucky whore. I admit it full. I love Chucky. Had to buy it. So this was like 40 bucks, 45 bucks for 7 movies. Pretty much Seed of Chucky I can't stand. Cult of Chucky, obviously I was extremely disappointed in. It's probably a movie that over time I will be able to watch it and enjoy it for what it is and just accept it for what it is, but still kind of a raw wound with me that Cult really kind of stabbed me in the heart as a Chucky fan, that all the spitting that they did on the lore of the franchise. But the other movies, Child's Play 1 through 3, Bride of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, all great movies. And my review for Curse of Chucky will be coming out soon, as well as my ranking for Chucky, but this is a damn good set. Absolutely go out and buy this one. Like I said, very close second for my pick of the month, but Stranger Things stole the shit out of it, so badass set. Some of these, I will give you a small little hint. I have never seen before, and they may be coming up in reviews because the month of November I've already kind of put out in some of my videos is going to be patron requests all month long as my way to give thanks for November. So some of these are titles that my patrons have recommended me check out, so I went ahead and bought them. Demon Knight, Tales from the Crypt. Have never seen this before. I've always heard awesome things about it. It was on a really cheap sale. I love Scream Factory, and Tales from the Crypt was really big when I was a young kid. I didn't get to see too much of it, but I'm fascinated to check this one out. Have not seen it yet, but we'll be seeing it very soon. Another Scream Factory release is Teen Wolf. Absolutely love this movie, grew up with it. This is a great transfer, a great little set. It actually came with a poster that's sitting right over there that you guys can't see, but eventually that'll be on my wall. This is a great Michael J. Fox 80s movie, basically where he finds out he's a werewolf. I think he's 18 years old, maybe 17 years old, but he turns into a werewolf, becomes the big popular guy at school for being the werewolf and having all these skills and all this agility and everything, and it's just such a great movie. Such a quotable movie if you've grown up with it. Maybe a little bit dated if you've never seen it before. I don't think the movie has aged poorly at all. I think it still holds up very well, but you may not get into some of the corniness if you've never seen it before until 2017, but damn good movie. If you enjoy Michael J. Fox, this is from that Back to the Future era, this is a must-own to me. So go out and buy that. This one I might get in trouble for, because I've always heard good things about this title. I bought it because I was curious and because I love Scream Factory, which the first 5, 6 things I'm talking about are all Scream Factories. That's Night of the Demons. Didn't like this one, I gotta be honest. I put it on late at night. The cover is badass. The back of it looks badass. I remember the cover. I have distinct images in my mind of certain horror movies that I've never seen, but I remember the VHS covers, passing them in video stores. And Night of the Demons 2, when she's got the little skull sucker and she's licking it. I remember that like it was yesterday. So I was curious to check this series out. From what I've heard, this is the best one of the series. If I'm wrong, tell me down below, but I just didn't care for this one. There's some movies that you honestly need to grow up with to appreciate, and I totally admit that. There's movies that I love that I will admit fully, if you watch it for the first time in 2017, like the one I was just talking about, you may not appreciate it the way I do, and for the fans of this movie, I get to be that guy this time around. I thought this movie was extremely bad acting, like not just 80s horror bad acting, it was like annoyingly bad. It didn't really scare me. Some of the effects are really, really dated. There were some aspects of it that I liked. I mean, there's not really too many demon movies nowadays, so certainly this is not a movie that I hated, but it's a movie that just, I don't know if I'll watch again. I might watch it again and give it a chance, maybe knowing what to expect. I'll enjoy it more and it'll be more of just a campy, fun watch, but I expected more from it and I didn't get quite all that back. So I'm gonna say to skip this one, unfortunately. So sorry, Night of the Demons fans. Moving on from that was a big release a couple months ago that I missed, but I got it now because it was on a damn good sale, and that is James Gunn's Slither. Very cool little throwback to B movies, kind of a style of movie, kind of like Night of the Creeps. That's the movie I was thinking of. So it's kind of like Night of the Creeps. You get these little red worms that come around. They possess people, turn them into zombies. Obviously, you've got Michael Rooker playing this gigantic monster here. This is a great horror comedy. I don't love it quite on the level that everybody else does that talks about this movie like it's this huge, hidden, gigantic gem. I enjoy this movie very much. I don't necessarily put it on that pedestal, so I like it very much. I do recommend you see it on Netflix because it's not going to be for everybody. It's definitely a movie that you're going to have to know what it is going into it to enjoy it, and some people won't get the humor. Just very James Gunn style humor. If you like his writing, you're probably going to like this movie a lot. Really cool performances from Michael Rooker, Elizabeth Banks. Of course, you've got the guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, Nathan Fillion is in this. Really cool movie, so check it out on Netflix. Moving on from that is a movie that I just got in the mail not too long ago, is the Scream Factory re-release of Dawn of the Dead, the remake, the Zack Snyder version. Still probably Zack Snyder's best movie. One of my favorite zombie movies of all time, one of my favorite remakes of all time. This is just a kick-ass movie. Bloody, insane, gory, fun from start to finish, really cool characters, awesome zombies. I'm a fan of fast zombies. That is my version of zombies. They have their time and their place, and there's certainly movies that are good with the slow kind of Walking Dead style zombies, but fast, like visceral zombies, like 28 days, 28 weeks later style, scare the shit out of me. I mean, I don't get nightmares, but if I see a thrilling sequence with these zombies, I'm on the edge of my seat, my hair is standing up. I don't get that effect from the slow zombies, so I cannot recommend this movie enough. This is a badass little re-release, an awesome cover, which I also got a poster of that'll be going up. But this is a kick-ass release by Scream Factory. Get a hold of this one if you can. There's cheaper releases that are Blu-ray that look just fine if you want to go the cheaper route, but this is a kick-ass movie, kick-ass release. Go out and buy it. And the last Scream Factory is a movie that I've seen once before, didn't think too much of it, but people are so passionately fans of this movie that I want to give it another shot. Now that I know what to expect, because I'm a John Carpenter fanatic, and I love pretty much everybody that is involved with this movie that I recognize at least. Donald Pleasance, Alice Cooper, Prince of Darkness. Now, from what I remember, this is basically a story of there's this cylinder full of this green ooze in this church, and Donald Pleasance is basically the pastor, I believe, and he gets these people together, these scientists, to try to study it, and kind of like the movie The Void that came out this year, this cult starts appearing outside of the church, led by Alice Cooper, and a lot of weird things start happening. The thing that I remember annoying me a little bit about this movie, which sounds strange coming from John Carpenter fan, is that his score in this movie got on my nerves, because the score from the beginning of the movie all the way to the end is just constant. It's like a constant loop. There's no like special scenes that get a score or anything. It's just this kind of loop of music. Now, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. That's what I remember about it annoying me. And I don't remember it being the best acted movie. I don't remember it being the most thrilling movie, but I remember it being pretty cool. So I'm gonna say check this out on Netflix, because I remember for a Carpenter fan, I was like, yeah, it's pretty decent, but I wanna check it out, give it another chance. It might go up from that, or it might go down. Who knows? Fuck it. Moving on from that is a movie that I'm not gonna get too in detail with, because I will be reviewing this next month as a patron request, and that is Hatchet 3. Now, if you guys have seen my full reviews of the first two Hatchets, pretty much I enjoyed the hell out of the first one. Thought it was a pretty good little horror comedy. It surprised me. I think I'll watch it again and enjoy it. Hatchet 2 I thought was a gigantic piece of shit. So this one, I have seen it. I will say I like it more than Hatchet 2, but I hated Hatchet 2, so how much more I liked it, I will leave that surprise for the review. So you do not get a rating for this one. You just have to wait and see. But that was actually a cheap Blu-ray. I didn't want to buy that one because it was like $24, and after I saw Hatchet 2, I was gun shy, but it went down to like $8, so I bought it. This one is a series of movies that I have never seen before, and hopefully I didn't waste my money on it, but we'll see. It is the Puppetmaster Trilogy. You got 1, 2, and 3. This was a pretty cheap little Blu-ray. These are movies that I remember the Blu-ray or the VHS cases very much in VHS stores. Whether or not I'm going to enjoy this, or whether or not I'm going to hate life while I'm watching this because I've missed my opportunity to enjoy this like I did with Night of the Demons, we'll find out. Moving on from that, and I keep saying that. That must be my new little transition thing. Moving on from that, I have got the first 4 Friday the 13th movies. They just released Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is just a brand new Blu-ray release. This finally has a standalone. At first, you could only find this in the 2-pack between 3 and 4, which is ungodly expensive, in my opinion. But these were like $8 a piece. Got the first one, got the second one, the third one. and the fourth one, all for less than $40. So can't beat that. These are kind of the original old school Friday the 13th before Jason turned into the undead zombie that we know him for. This is when he was still a human being, or as much of a human being as you can be. But these are movies that, for one, I've needed to add to my collection. If I'm going to call myself a horror fan, I need to have some Friday the 13th movies. Two, I still cannot find a somewhat reasonable price for the big Friday the 13th steel box that went out of print, and now people want ungodly amounts of money for it, and I'm not going to spend that for a series that I'm honestly not a gigantic fan of, at least not yet. And I may or may not be doing a review series for this. Coming up soon. You guys have requested that a lot. I listen to my fans. Friday the 13th, 1 through 4. I'm not going to give ratings on them because I'm going to have full reviews coming out eventually. But, yeah, for a horror fan, these were pretty cheap. So, definitely worth grabbing. Although Amazon did break the clamshell on my Friday the 13th, the original, fuckers. Moving on from that is a movie that I have yet to see, because I just bought this the other night, but I am very excited to see it, because I'm actually one of the few people in the world that did not hate the first one. I'm sorry, I didn't. And that's Annabelle Creation. I thought the first one was pretty decent, actually. I didn't think it was near as bad as people make it out for. People put that in the list of worst movies ever made. I don't get that. But Annabelle Creation apparently is much, much better. I believe this was directed by David F. Sandberg. So that's the guy that did Lights Out, the guy that's going to be doing the Shazam movie. Basically James Wan, guy that he's kind of taken under his wing. So I have high expectations for this. I expect to like it very much. I'll probably watch this on Halloween. So keep an eye out. I may do a review for this in the future if I get bored. I may not, but I bought it. So I got it. All right, 3 more, people. This one is a movie that I have seen, but it has been years since I've seen it. I have no idea if I like this movie or not. I have yet to rewatch it, but I went Stephen King crazy a couple months ago leading up to it. I even put out a few reviews. I did Pet Sematary. I did Christine. And this is one that I felt like needed to be in my collection. It was pretty cheap. Bought Cujo. So, Cujo is a classic. It's about the St. Bernard. It goes rabid, keeps the people in the car, the mom and the son. And it's a Stephen King classic. People love this movie. Maybe I'll be one of them. I honestly remember nothing about whether I like the movie or not. 2 more. I'm going to do the one that I have not seen yet first. Wish Upon. This may have been a mistake to buy, because a lot of people say this movie sucked, but there are some people out there that said it was actually pretty decent. I was curious enough about it to buy it. I was curious enough that I would give it a shot. It's a PG-13 horror movie. I doubt it's going to be something that I'm going to love, but I doubt it's going to be something I'm going to hate, so figured I'd pick it up. What's your guys' thoughts on this? Put it in the comment section below if you liked this, hated it, loved it, whatever your thoughts are. And the final one really kind of goes along with Stranger Things for awesome packaging. Now, this is a movie that I have never seen before, but I've always heard of it, saw that it was released on Blu-ray this month, and wanted to check it out. And that is 976 Evil. Now, this is, I believe, the directorial debut of Robert Englund. I think he might have directed one more movie after this. Don't quote me on it. This might be the only movie he ever directed, but that alone made me curious. Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger himself, directed this movie. You got Stephen Jeffries, who everybody knows as Evil Ed from Fright Night, the original, and he's basically playing this kid who is very sheltered. He's a mama's boy. He gets picked on constantly, and he starts playing around with some demonic dark arts, turns into a demon, and starts enacting some revenge. This was not a classic by any means, but this was a movie that I had a damn good time with. I thought it was a really cool, stylistic movie. I thought Robert Englund actually did pretty damn good directing it for what this was. Some effects are a little bit wonky, but I mean, this is the 80s, so there's much worse out there. But pretty cool little movie. Like I said, there's not too many demon movies nowadays, so finding movies like this that you enjoy is pretty cool, and the packaging is badass. It's packaged like a old VHS style. You even got this little like sale sticker here, and the old worn edges. I actually thought that maybe they had sent me a shitty slip cover, but it's part of the design. So I love little throwback designs like that. And this is just a fun movie. So I'm gonna say, go out and buy this. I enjoyed it for what it was. This is a movie that I will revisit. I thought it was very cool. I'm not interested in the sequel. I've heard there's a sequel that has nothing to do with Stephen Jeffries or Robert Englund. So I enjoyed this. Go out and buy it. Pretty damn cool little find. Well, that is it, people. That is all the Blu-rays I bought in the month of October. One hell of a month, if I do say so myself. Absolutely go out and buy most, if not all, of those things. And if you're interested in doing that, of course, down below are the links in my Amazon affiliate. If you click down below in the video description, I'll have links for every single one of these titles, at least the ones that are actually on Amazon. And if you purchase these or anything on the Amazon.com website, even if it's a refrigerator or clothes or whatever you want to buy, if you use the links that I provide down below, it's a good way to give back to this channel and help support it, because whatever you buy using my links, I'll get a little bit of a kickback. So if you plan on buying these, I'd ask you please check out these links down below. Like I said, great way to support the channel. You don't have to do anything extra. You're not sending me anything. You're not giving me any extra money out of your pocket. You're buying things to add to your collection, and Amazon is giving me a little bit of a commission for it. So check that out, guys. If you want to check out the rest of these videos, there's a playlist I'll put somewhere around here on the end screen. Got plenty of these Blu-ray updates. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you want to check out my social media links, I also have that in the video description for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and my Patreon page, which is a more direct way to support this channel, and a lot of cool ways to get exclusive content for your eyes. And as always, if you want to check out the rest of my videos or the rest of these off the shelves, you can check that out by clicking right over here.